Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me. Wherever you are joining me, rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. We are a couple subscribers away from 3,000 and always appreciative of those people who have joined us on this journey. Um, I don't have much today, but I felt it necessary to come on and discuss recent events. I pride myself on being the intersection of where sports and culture come together. I know how powerful and how impactful music is in sports and in culture. And so when I was sitting in my classroom yesterday, and all of a sudden, students started getting notifications about Takeoff from the Migos being murdered. It really did affect me in a way. I wasn't necessarily. It's not like I was saddened by the thought process of death, because death is all around us. We know that happens regularly. What I really was saddened about was the lack of impact, the lack of um, impact this young 20-something-year-old millionaire black man could have on our culture, on our society as a whole. Um, as a 42-year-old, I have gone through different phases of my life, and in my 20s, especially in my mid 20s to early to mid 20s, I didn't have things figured out. I wasn't as influential as I could have been. I could only imagine if that was the end, if that was the period that went on my sentence. If all you got of me was up to 26, 27, 28 years old, then you're getting a very incomplete picture of who I am as a person and the impact that I could have. Since my mid 20s, I have gone on to lead several men, to be a mentor to young men and young women, to reach back. I wasn't always the one that they liked. I wasn't always the one that they loved. I wasn't always the guy that they said was their favorite teacher or their favorite coach. But they respected the fact that I brought them knowledge, I brought them truth, and I tried to prepare them for what they would see later on in life. And now, as I sit here at 42 years old with a platform that reaches out to thousands of people, that is consumed by thousands of people weekly, people who believe in my words because they know that what I say I mean. And I'm here to tell you that something like that is part of the problem that we have in our communities. I want to make two things abundantly clear. Number one, we as men and as women who do well for ourselves, we deserve the right to wear whatever we want, to show that wealth in whatever means we want to show it in. We should be able to do that and not worry about ramifications, not worried about people trying to come after us for what we have. They don't say, hey, I want to have what he has. They say, I want what he has. Not I want to get it for myself. They say, I want his. And that type of thought process ends up with us losing people who could be so influential in the coming months, who could be so influential in the coming years. We don't know what Takeoff could have been as a 42-year-old man, as a wealthy 42-year-old man who has been rich for 20 plus years. See, we don't get an opportunity to see a lot of our millionaires in the Black community live to get to 40 and 50 and 60 years old. So they're not able to impart the wisdom that 40, 50, and 60-year-olds are able to impart. They're not able to tell people about the things that 40, 50, and 60-year-olds know about, but these other people don't. And when they don't get a chance to do that, they are robbed of the opportunity to uplift and to raise up their people, as opposed to just seeing what they were in their 20s. Now, we should have the right to make money and to show and live an opulent lifestyle. But we also have to understand that there is evil out there in the world that does not want to see us living like that, that believes that we don't deserve it, that believes that we shouldn't have it, and that therefore they're coming to get it. We have to realize that. We have to understand that whether we are a young, rich rapper, a young, rich athlete, a young, rich entrepreneur, whatever you do in your life that affords you a level of wealth that the average person does not have. And because of that, we have to move differently. Because of that, we can't move the way that we used to move. It's a sad truth that we have to live with in this society, is that when you have wealth and you decide that you're going to let it be known that that wealth is there, you can no longer move in the same manner that you moved before, because somebody wants what you have. And they don't want to get it the same way that you got it. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to do their due diligence. They don't want to struggle. They don't want to do any of that. They just want to take it from you. They want to take it immediately from you because that's the easiest way to do it. And to me, it just says a lot about who we are as a community, that we don't get the opportunity to see these young men and young women into their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. Because like in my 20s, in my mid 20s, my late 20s, it wasn't like I was poor, but I wasn't as well off as I am right now. I could only imagine the amount of wisdom, the amount of things that I could do in my community if I was wealthy at a young age, or even if I made the type of money that I make now in my mid-20s, the type of impact that I could have now because I was able to do so much more. We get robbed from that opportunity of seeing what a Takeoff would be like in his 40s. We get robbed from the opportunity of seeing what a Nipsey would be like in his 40s. We get robbed from the opportunity of seeing what some of these young Black millionaires would be like when they've had a chance to sit in those millions and realize the impact that they could have year after year after year after year. We get robbed of that. And in other cultures, they're not being robbed of that. These other cultures are having the opportunity to see their people not only succeed and thrive, but they get an opportunity to see that happen for years on years on years. And they can see what the residual impact is from that behavior. And until we get to a point where we can see that, until we get to the point where we can watch, a guy become a millionaire at 20 something years old and die at 85 and 90 years old, after he's had the opportunity or she's had the opportunity to affect millions of people, until we get the opportunity to see that, we're never going to level this thing off. Because the live fast, die young philosophy, it is a lame ass philosophy. The live fast, die young philosophy is not something that anybody should be trying to attain, because the secret to life is in time. The secret to life is all in time. Everybody can be a millionaire because time is on your side. If you start as a young age, you do what you're supposed to do, you can be a millionaire. It's time. It's all time. But if we never afford ourselves the opportunity for time, then we never get the benefits of it. So to see another young black male millionaire dead before he ever hits 30 over something as ridiculous as a dice game, and to know that it won't just end with his death. It won't just end with his death. There'll be retaliations. Then there'll be retaliations for the retaliations. And this is going to end up, the impact that his death is going to have is going to be other people dying. And that is the awful part about all of this, because that's not the legacy I'm sure that he wanted to leave. I'm sure when he thought in his mind about how it ended for him, he didn't see it ending that way. He didn't deserve for it to end that way. I don't want anyone to blame him, right? Because I have to be careful to not blame. I don't want people to blame him. It's not his fault that other people decided to take his life. It's not his fault. But what happened to him should be a cautionary tale to those others out there. When you level up, when you change addresses, when you change tax brackets, you can't always just sit around in the same areas that you sat when you didn't have it, because there's somebody in that area that's jealous, and you don't know what that level of jealousy will end at. You don't know if it'll end with someone trying to rob you, someone trying to kill you, someone trying to take what you have by force. You don't know how it's going to end. But we see history enough to know that it's probably not good. That doesn't mean you can't help, you can't affect, you can't make changes in the communities that you came from. It just means you have to be smarter in how you move when you're around there. We're never going to see what he could become. And that's the sad part. We're never going to know. There's so many other stories of that. There's so many other stories of that. Let's start burying our elders and stop burying our kids. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, whatever you do. Keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the channel, you know what to do. Like, subscribe. Till next time. Peace.